Have you ever stood before a landscape and wondered if you were still on Earth, or if you had inadvertently stepped through a portal to another planet where colossal rock formations and lakes change color with unimaginable shapes? They leave us with more questions than answers. So why are there lands that seem to be shaped by rules entirely different from the world we live in? It is a place where nature defies all rules, revealing secrets that will completely change how you perceive the power of this planet. And what enabled these enormous ecosystems to exist in isolation for millions of years without sunlight or human intervention? Are you ready to witness Earth tell its own story through rocks, wind, and time in these unreal places? Then don't hesitate. Prepare yourself to face the power and discover the stories of the 50 strangest destinations in the world. Naslaa Rock, Saudi Arabia. What makes Naslaa a global phenomenon is not its enormous size, but the vertical cut that divides the rock in two. The cut is perfectly straight and smooth, dividing the sandstone block into two perfectly symmetrical parts. The distance between the two blocks is so small that it appears constant from top to bottom. Most geologists believe this is the result of a natural fault line in the ground beneath shifting, causing the rock mass to crack. There is a theory that this is a landmark or an artistic symbol of a civilization that once existed on the Arabian Peninsula. Devil's Kettle, USA. It is famous for its eastward flow, cascading down a 50-foot-high cliff and continuing toward Lake Superior. The westward flow enters a sinkhole and disappears. Known as Devil's Kettle, this mysterious underground stream has long puzzled the people of Minnesota. In an effort to understand the origin of the underground flow, researchers dropped dye-laden objects into the pit. But for centuries, this mysterious water wonder has continued to baffle anyone who happens to stumble upon it. Stonehenge, England. This is the only stone circle in the world with horizontal bars perfectly curved in a circle. The largest stones weigh up to 25 tons and were transported from a distance of 32 kilometers. But even crazier are the smaller blue stones, weighing around 2 to 4 tons, that were brought in from Wales, 225 kilometers away. During the Middle Ages, it was believed that the wizard Merlin used magic to bring these stones from Ireland to England. There's even a story that says giants worked together to carry stones and build this circle, which became unreal places. A recent study suggests it wasn't the work of any single tribe, but rather a larger project aimed at uniting tribes across the island. Giza Pyramids, Egypt. Located on the Giza Plateau, the pyramids offer a glimpse into the achievements of ancient Egypt. As explorers navigated the narrow passageways, they couldn't help but wonder about the engineering and magnificent constructions. They represent the pinnacle of tomb architecture, combining function with magnificent aesthetic beauty. Today, archaeological excavations continue to unveil the mysteries of these ancient structures. The precise arrangement and enormous scale of these pyramids demonstrate advanced engineering skills. When you choose to visit the pyramids, you not only witness incredible architecture, but also a living piece of history. Cano Cristales River, Colombia. If you look at Cano Cristales between June and November, you won't believe your eyes. The river is like a ribbon of iridescent colors, vibrant red, golden, yellow, green, blue, and deep black. It's not due to minerals or pollution, but thanks to an endemic aquatic plant called Macarenia clavigera. This plant, with just a slight change in water level or light intensity, will change its color from pale pink to deep red or green. For decades, the world was largely unaware of its existence because it lay in the area controlled by the FARC rebel group. This picturesque river was once a dangerous dead zone, completely isolated from tourism. Namafjall, Iceland, located east of Lake Mývatn, this geothermal area resembles a blend of an alien landscape and hell. Nestled at the foot of a majestic volcano, this site features a large collection of boiling mud pits and steam springs known as fumarole. Here, the desert cracks open and vaporizes like a boiling kettle, with gas vents and mud pits erupting into the atmosphere. To enjoy the unique scenery here, you must be prepared to endure the foul smell of toxic gases emanating from cracks in the ground. Smoke from the hot gas vents has driven all vegetation out of the area, leaving it barren and devoid of vegetation, much like Mars. Alongside the gas vents and mud pits, patches of vibrant, colorful minerals adorn the ground surrounding the area. Plain of Jars, Laos. The scene is one of thousands of enormous stone jars scattered across lush green hills and windswept valleys. These jars have stood there for thousands of years, enduring and unperturbed, a stark contrast to the surrounding trees. Most of the jars were carved from sandstone or granite with the incredible skill of the Iron Age. According to local legend, this land was once inhabited by giants. The most popular story tells of the legendary king Kun Chung and the unreal places. Cappadocia, Turkey. Located on a rugged plateau north of the Taurus Mountains in what is now central Turkey. The Cappadocia landscape comprises vast areas of soft volcanic rock formed by erosion into towers, cones, valleys, and caves. Stone-carved churches and complexes of underground tunnels from the Byzantine era are scattered throughout the countryside. Excavations at the modern-day town of Kultepe have uncovered the remains of the city of Kanesh. Tens of thousands of clay tablets found from the ruins of an Assyrian trading colony in Kanesh are among the ancient written documents. The name Cappadocia emerged when the Cappadocia feudal aristocracy was dominated by a Persian province. Gates of Hell, Turkmenistan. In 1971, Soviet geologists set up an oil rig in the Karakum Desert to search for oil. The ground beneath the rig collapsed, creating a crater approximately 70 meters in diameter and 20 meters deep. To stop the toxic methane gas, the scientists decided to set it on fire, believing that the gas would burn completely. The Karakum Desert, once a natural wonder, was a silent, arid, and dark place. The appearance of a giant blazing orange fire pit creates an extremely surreal spectacle. Fly Geyser, USA. In 1916, local people drilled a well hoping to find water to irrigate the desert. They struck a pocket of geothermal water nearly 200 degrees Celsius. The well was later abandoned because the water was too hot. Minerals dissolved in the water settle and accumulate over the years, forming raised masses with bizarre shapes. The vibrant red, green, and yellow hues aren't simply due to minerals, but rather to thermophilic algae. These microorganisms thrive in harsh environments where temperature and light conditions change constantly. Catatumbo, Lightning, Venezuela. Known as the city that never sleeps, it boasts the highest lightning density on the planet. On average, there are 260 nights a year, with up to 280 lightning strikes per hour. Located in a unique geographical position, Lake Maracaibo is surrounded on three sides by the high mountain ranges of the Andes. Warm, humid winds from the Caribbean get trapped in this basin and clash violently with the cold air that rushes in at night. Intense convection creates enormous electrically charged clouds, turning the sky into a giant, continuously operating power plant. Underwater waterfall Mauritius. Located approximately 700 miles east of Madagascar on an underwater plateau in the Indian Ocean, Mauritius is an island nation formed by volcanic activity approximately 8 million years ago. The island is the second largest in the Mascarene archipelago and is home to a number of rare plant and animal species. Although this underwater waterfall on the coastal continental shelf is actually an optical illusion caused by erosion. As ocean currents move the sand, it creates a flow effect that looks like water cascading over the edge of a cliff. Amazingly, underwater waterfalls actually exist in other places around the world, such as the Danish Channel waterfall. Nazca Line, Peru, located on the arid coastal plains of Peru, about 400 kilometers south of Lima. The giant ground drawings in Nazca and the Jumana steppe region span an area of approximately 450 square kilometers. These lines etched into the ground surface between 500 BC and 500 AD. It is one of the greatest mysteries of archaeology because of its number nature size and continuity. The gigantic drawings depict living creatures, stylized plants, and imaginary beings, as well as geometric shapes. It is believed that they served a ritualistic astronomical function. Badab-e, Surt, Iran. Created by nature after two different mineral hot springs spent thousands of years bubbling water down the mountain. As the water cooled, it left behind carbonate minerals, which eventually hardened to give the slope its current stepped shape. It is believed to cure ailments such as rheumatism and certain skin diseases. In the spring, it erupts with a layer of acidic sediment, full of oxides, giving the water a beautiful orange color. Due to its salinity, one of the mineral hot springs does not freeze in winter. Monte Roraima, Venezuela. Instead of sharp peaks like typical mountains, Roraima has a flat surface covering approximately 31 square kilometers. Because it is isolated from the world below by colossal cliffs, this place is home to plant and animal species that do not exist anywhere else. For the local Piemont people, Roraima holds deep spiritual significance. According to legend, the mountain was once the root of a giant tree that bore all the fruits and vegetables in the world. After being felled by a god, the floods from the severed tree created the waterfalls cascading down the cliffs that exist today, forming the unreal places. Richat structure, Mauritania. If you look at it from the ground, Richat is just a series of ordinary rolling limestone hills. But when viewed from space, it appears as a giant circular structure with a diameter of up to 40 to 50 kilometers. The concentric circles are stacked precisely on top of each other, creating the image of a giant eye gazing into the universe. Initially, scientists thought it was the impact crater of a giant meteorite. However, after careful study, they found no minerals characteristic of a cosmic collision. The truth is that geologists now believe it is the result of a bulging of the Earth's crust due to magma pressure from beneath the surface. Lake Hillier, Australia. What sets Hillier apart from other pink lakes around the world is the intensity of its color. While many lakes only show a slight pinkish hue seasonally, Hillier maintains its vibrant pink color year-round. Even if you scoop a cup of water from the lake, the water in the cup will retain its pink color, an extremely rare occurrence. The first person to discover this lake was the English captain Matthew Flinders. When he climbed to the summit of Middle Island, he took water samples and recorded in his diary the astonishing salinity of the water. Abraham Lake, Canada. This is a quick and easy stop for those traveling on the Icefields Parkway between Jasper and Banff. In spring and summer, the lake's water has the characteristic turquoise color of alpine lakes. But it's in winter that Abraham Lake truly takes center stage. That's when methane bubbles become trapped in the ice, creating a dramatic effect. The bubbles are created by naturally occurring bacteria that break down plant matter at the bottom of the lake. When you walk or skate on the ice, bubbles seem to pile up beneath your feet. Dallol, Ethiopia. It is an ash cone volcano in the Danakil Depression, although its unique geology means it lacks any typical volcanic features. Instead, it is a vibrant tapestry of green, red, and yellow hues spread across hundreds of acidic hot springs and salt mounds. Hydrothermal activity beneath the Dallol crater is the cause of this diverse landscape. As groundwater diffuses from the highlands, it is heated by the lava below, dissolving salts and other minerals in the process. These minerals are oxidized, creating saturated, colorful hot springs. The high temperatures of Danakil then evaporate the water, leaving behind blocks of colorful salt that mark the boundaries. Dallol Island, Mexico. Thousands of old, worn-out dolls with empty or mud-stained eyes hang from tree branches or fences. In the scorching Mexican sun, they don't bring out any cuteness, but create a gloomy atmosphere. It all began with Don Julian Santana Barrera, who left his family to live in seclusion on this island around the 1950s. Legend says that Julian found the body of a little girl who had drowned in the canal near the island. Shortly afterward, he found a doll washed ashore. Believing it belonged to the little girl, he hung it on a tree as a way to comfort her soul. Valle de la Luna, Chile. This place is the result of millions of years of geological activity. The collision of tectonic plates has pushed the Earth's crust upwards, exposing salt bedrock eroded by harsh, dry winds. The most magical sight is when the sun sets, the valley's colors change from straw yellow to pale pink, then crimson and deep purple. Light shining on the salt crystals creates a shimmering, silvery effect, which is what makes unreal places so special. Locals say these are 3 women praying in the middle of the vast desert. In reality, they are formed from salt and clay compressed over thousands of years. Easter Island, Chile. The indigenous name of Easter Island is a testament to a unique cultural phenomenon. A Polynesian community that settled here around 300 AD established a tradition of monumental sculpture and architecture. From the 10th to the 16th centuries, this community built temples and erected colossal stone statues known as moai. This place creates an unparalleled cultural landscape, continuing to attract attention from people all over the world. This culture exhibits extraordinary characteristics manifested in its architecture within the Polynesian context. The island was settled by a small group of settlers from eastern Polynesia at the end of the 1st millennium AD. The Wave, Arizona, USA. Located in the Paria Canyon, Vermilion Cliffs wilderness area on the Arizona and Utah border. Unlike many canyons carved by rivers, the Wave was primarily shaped by wind. Winds blowing through narrow channels for millions of years have sculpted the rock surface into gentle curves. For a long time, the wave was known only to local ranchers and a few daring Western photographers. Few knew that the wave's popularity originated in Europe. In the 1990s, a German documentary and travel magazines in that country showcased surreal images of the area. Bamboo forest. Arashiyama, Japan, nestled on the outskirts of Kyoto Sagano, once a tranquil natural destination, has now become a bustling hub of tourist streets. The slender bamboo stalks reach high into the sky, their strange rustling sound echoing as they sway in the wind. Ancient temples are scattered along the trail, and nearby are beautiful Japanese gardens with ponds and breathtaking views. Famous for its tranquil bamboo forests, peaceful riverside walking paths, and rich cultural heritage, Arashiyama offers a perfect blend of nature and tradition, setting it apart from all other areas of Kyoto. If you plan to visit Kyoto, Arashiyama is a destination you shouldn't miss. Zhangjiajie National Forest Park, China, famous for its thousands of towering vertical sandstone columns rising from the valley, creating a giant stone forest. These rock columns were formed through millions of years of physical erosion from ice and vegetation, not volcanic formation. On foggy days, mist hangs between the stone pillars, revealing only the peaks above. This is the key element that stimulates Hollywood's imagination. Not just a trip to China, but an adventure to another planet, a living testament to how art can help us appreciate natural beauty. Fairy circles, Namibia. These circles, ranging in diameter from 2 to 15 meters, are completely barren with not a single blade of grass growing inside. They never overlap when viewed from above. They resemble a grid or a mathematical blueprint, untouched by human intervention. This is the pinnacle of self-organizing arrangement in nature. The Himba people believe that their ancestor, the god Mukuru, left these footprints as he traversed the desert. Each circle represents a sacred footprint that the sand cannot fill. Giant's Causeway Island. It is a system of approximately 40,000 jet-black basalt columns stacked on top of each other in an incredible fashion. Most of the columns are hexagonal, but you can also find columns with 4, 5, 7, or even 8 sides. Natural Wonders looks like a giant, man-made paved road leading straight down to the sea. Legend has it that Finn McCool, an Irish giant, was challenged by a Scottish giant named Benandonna. To confront his enemy, Finn built a stone road across the North Channel so the two could meet. Son Dung Cave, Vietnam. With the title of the world's largest natural cave, Son Dung represents the pinnacle of what nature can create. The cave chambers are large enough to accommodate a 40-story skyscraper or a Boeing jet without touching its wings. Its formation is estimated to be about 2 to 5 million years ago, creating giant stalactites and stalagmites some tens of meters high. These sinkholes are where the cave ceiling collapsed hundreds of thousands of years ago, creating 2 natural windows for sunlight. It is a natural laboratory and a reminder of the greatness and fragility of the Earth. Salar de Uyuni, Bolivia. It is the world's largest salt field, covering an area of over 10,000 square kilometers. A thin layer of water stretches across the smooth, flat salt surface, transforming the entire area into a giant mirror. At this moment, the horizon seems to disappear, giving you the feeling of walking among clouds or floating in endless space. Water evaporates, leaving behind fantastical hexagonal salt formations stretching to the ends of the world within unreal places. This is a paradise for photographers to play with perspective photos due to the absence of reference points. Fingal's Cave, Scotland. The most famous of the sea caves on the southwest coast of Staffa Island, an island in the inner Hebrides archipelago. It is approximately 12 meters wide, with the cave floor covered by about 7.6 meters of water. The cave is located within symmetrical basalt columns with articulated joints formed by the cooling of lava flows. The cave's dome creates a unique natural soundscape echoing harmoniously with the gentle murmur of the waves inside. Basalt columns rising above tufa limestone form a rugged coastline dotted with caves. Antelope Canyon, USA. As the name suggests, gorges are small canyons formed when water finds its way into cracks or fissures in bedrock. Often found in deserts or areas with low rainfall, gorges are the result of thousands of years of extreme weather changes. In the case of Antelope Canyon, a now discontinuous stream flowing into the Colorado River, once caused flash floods. Then came periods of hot and dry weather, where sandstorms eroded the canyon walls, creating swirling patterns. The story goes that long ago, a Navajo girl was tending cattle on her family's ancestral land near what is now Page, Arizona. Along the way, she stumbled upon a crater in the sandstone cliff where divine rays of light shone into the cave. Derinkuyu, underground city, Turkey. It is 85 meters deep, with at least 18 underground levels, although currently visitors are only allowed to tour 8 levels. Its capacity was up to 20,000 people, along with plenty of livestock and food. To sustain tens of thousands of people underground, the ancients designed more than 15,000 ventilation shafts. In 1963, a local man in the town of Derinkuyu decided to renovate his basement. When he hammered away a soft tufa stone wall, he found not an empty room, but a pitch-black tunnel. It turned out that beneath his house and the entire town lay a vast network that had been forgotten for decades. Blood Falls, Antarctica. The most famous highlight at Taylor Glacier is Blood Falls. Imagine a deep red waterfall, like blood cascading from a white ice cliff into the frozen West Bonny Lake. When first discovered in 1911 by explorer Griffith Taylor, it was thought to be caused by a type of red algae. In reality, this water originates from a salt lake located 400 meters deep beneath a glacier. When the water comes into contact with the air at the surface, the iron oxidizes and turns a brilliant red, exactly like how iron rusts. Göbekli Tepe, Turkey. Located in the Gürmuş Mountains in southeastern Anatolia, this site displays megalithic structures in various shapes. Erected by hunter-gatherers during the Neolithic and pre-pottery periods from 9,600 to 8,200 BC. These structures were likely used in rituals, most likely funeral rites. The distinctive T-shaped stone pillars are carved with images of wild animals, reflecting the lifestyle and beliefs of the people. Massive architectural structures, understood to be community buildings, erected during the Neolithic and pre-pottery periods. Ice caves beneath Mount Butnovsky, Russia. When sunlight penetrates the thin layer of ice above the cave ceiling, it's not simply white light. The varying thickness of the ice filters the light into shades of blue, purple, and especially a brilliant yellow. The cave ceiling often has a wavy structure, like ribbons of silk or natural latticework, a result of uneven erosion and melting. It wasn't formed by the erosion of ordinary rainwater. Instead, hot water flows from the Mutnovsky volcano's crater beneath layers of snow that have accumulated for decades. Door to Hell, Turkmenistan. In the vast and scorching Karakum Desert of Turkmenistan, near the village of Darvaza, with 350 inhabitants. Although officially called the Darvaza gas crater, locals know it by the name Gateway to Hell. It is believed to have formed in 1971, when a Soviet patrol team was searching for natural gas. The drilling rig accidentally struck a massive underground natural gas cavern, causing the ground to collapse and the entire rig to fall. After puncturing a pocket of gas, toxic gas began leaking at an alarming rate. Wave Rock, Australia. Measuring around 15 meters high and 100 to 110 meters long, the rock is awe-inspiring and surreal. The surface of Wave Rock is adorned with beautiful vertical stripes in a variety of colors, mainly red, ochre, orange, and gray. The granite rock itself is estimated to be around 2.7 billion years old, making it one of the oldest rocks on Earth. The distinctive wave shape is actually the result of millions of years of weathering and erosion. Marble Caves, Chile. In spring, the lake's water turns turquoise due to melting ice particles from the Andes glaciers mixing in. When summer arrives, the water level rises, and the sunlight reflects off the cliffs, creating a magical deep blue hue. These marble layers were originally limestone formations from the remains of marine organisms millions of years ago. Through geological processes and immense pressure, they transformed into marble and were gradually pushed southward. This cave's magical blue color is due to a subtle borrowing of lake water provided by melting glaciers. Moraki Boulders, New Zealand. If you set foot on Koikohe Beach, you'll feel like you've just stumbled into a chess game played by the gods. Dozens of nearly perfect spherical rocks, some up to 2 meters high and weighing several tons, are scattered across the sand. According to Maori belief, these stones are not natural rocks. The story tells of the legendary Araituru dugout canoe, one of the large ocean-going ships that carried their ancestors to New Zealand. These round stones are actually baskets containing eels' gourds and sweet potatoes from the shipwreck, which have fossilized over time. Chocolate Hills, Philippines. The most striking feature is the almost perfect shape of about 1,268 to 1,776 conical or pyramidal hills spread over an area of 50 square kilometers. Their symmetry and large number create a surreal landscape, almost unbelievable to be created by nature. With the lush green grass covering the hills, turning dark brown, reminiscent of giant stacked Kisses chocolates. Famous for the story of two giants who fought each other for days when they left behind these hills as the battlefield. As one of the most visited tourist destinations in the Philippines, it plays an important role in the economy of Bohol province. Lençóis Maranhenses, Brazil. This area is located in northeastern Brazil on the eastern coast of Maranhão. More than half of its area is a region of white coastal sand dunes with temporary and permanent lagoons. Besides its important role in biodiversity conservation, the park also possesses aesthetic and geological values. Along the long coastline, with its endless stretches of beaches, prevailing winds have shaped crescent-shaped sand dunes. Filled up during the rainy season, these lagoons come in a variety of colors, shapes, sizes, and depths. Eternal Flame, Falls, USA. It is a 9-meter-high waterfall consisting of 2 sections. The top section is a narrow waterfall, nearly 2 meters high. The second section widens to more than double its width as it cascades down slate. A small cave to the right contains an underground spring with natural gas which can be ignited to create a flame 10 to 20 centimeters high. As you approach the falls, a natural gas odor, similar to rotten eggs, permeates the gorge. This is the result of leaks from the organic-rich Hanover shale layers known as the Unreal Places. Sea of Trees, Japan. The forest grows on a hard volcanic limestone bedrock. Because their roots cannot penetrate deep into the soil, they creep along the ground, intertwining to create bizarre shapes. The limestone ground has excellent sound-absorbing properties. Upon entering, you will feel a silence so profound you can hear your own heartbeat. The absence of birds and animals further enhances the tranquil atmosphere. Pamukkale, Turkey. From a distance, Pamukkale looks like a snow-capped mountain, bathed in the golden sunlight of the Aegean region. But in reality, that pure white color isn't snow or ice, but rather travertine formed over thousands of years. The stark white of the limestone contrasts perfectly with the turquoise color of the spring water and the sky. Few people know that situated right above those pristine white limestone steps lies the ruins of Hierapolis. Hierapolis was not only a commercial center, but also one of the world's oldest health-restoring stations. Shilin Stone Forest, China. The UNESCO Shilin Global Geopark is so named because of the tall vertical limestone pillars scattered throughout the area. This makes it famous in the field of geology and tourism. The exposed rocks in the geological layer are primarily Devonian carbonate rocks on a shallow waterbed. This area was long covered by an ancient sea, where thousands of cubic meters of calcium-rich seashells were deposited. This deep sedimentary layer was then uplifted and weathered to form a rock forest. Spotted Lake Canada. If you look from above in the summer, you'll see it's no longer a calm, still body of water. And this is an endorheic salt lake. In the summer, the heat causing the water to evaporate minerals rapidly. For thousands of years, the indigenous people have used the water and mud here for healing. Each spot is believed to possess a unique healing property ranging from skin diseases to war wounds. There's a story that says during a tribal war, both sides agreed to a truce so they could bathe together in this lake. Lake Natron, Tanzania. Located in northern Tanzania, near the border with neighboring Kenya, Lake Natron lies northeast of the Ngorongoro crater. The landscape is dominated by Old Dueño Lengai, an active volcano located just south of Lake Natron. This lake, with a maximum length of 56 kilometers, is primarily supplied with water from rivers and hot springs. Because water cannot drain from the lake, the rate of evaporation is very high, leaving behind natron and trona. The surrounding landscape is bizarre due to its proximity to a deadly body of water, yet it is rich in rare flora and fauna. Socotra Island, Yemen. Located in the northwestern Indian Ocean, Socotra is 250 kilometers long and comprises 4 islands and 2 smaller, rocky islets. This site is of global importance due to its biodiversity with rich and unique flora and fauna. It is also home to globally significant populations of terrestrial and seabirds, including several threatened species. The recognized area is large enough to fully represent all terrestrial and marine features and processes. Terrestrial nature reserves, national parks, and areas of exceptional botanical value. Blood Falls, Antarctica. Approximately 2 million years ago, a saltwater lake was isolated beneath the Taylor Glacier. Completely devoid of light and oxygen, and extremely salty, the water in this lake was rich in iron. When this salty water leaks through the cracks and comes into contact with oxygen, it is immediately oxidized, creating a red color. What shocked the scientific community was the existence of ancient bacteria in this harsh environment. They survived by converting sulfate into sulfite, using iron to sustain life instead of photosynthesis. Cano, Cristales River, Colombia. Often known as the Rainbow River. It is one of Colombia's top destinations. It is a safe and enchanting place where you can admire some of the world's most spectacular scenery. The five-colored river is at its most vibrant between July and November, when Macarenia clavigera blooms. This plant produces a brilliant red pigment that covers the riverbed, creating a spectacular display of color. The contrast between the red and the green vegetation, the blue sky, and the clear water creates a breathtaking spectacle. The colors are most vibrant when the water level is low and the sunlight shines at the right angle onto the riverbed. Dallol Island, Mexico. Thousands of old, worn-out dolls with empty or mud-stained eyes hang from tree branches or fences. In the scorching Mexican sun, they don't bring out any cuteness, but create a gloomy atmosphere. It all began with Don Julian Santana Barrera, who left his family to live in seclusion on this island around the 1950s. Legend says that Julian found the body of a little girl who had drowned in the canal near the island. Shortly afterward, he found a doll washed ashore. Believing it belonged to the little girl, he hung it on a tree as a way to comfort her soul. Eternal Flame Falls, USA. It is a 9-meter-high waterfall consisting of two sections. The top section is a narrow waterfall nearly 2 meters high. The second section widens to more than double its width as it cascades down slate. A small cave to the right contains an underground spring with natural gas which can be ignited to create a flame 10 to 20 centimeters high. As you approach the falls, a natural gas odor, similar to rotten eggs, permeates the gorge. This is the result of leaks from the organic-rich Hanover shale layers known as the Unreal Places. The gas is produced during the decomposition of organic matter in pressurized rock deposits and escapes through cracks and debris. Dallol, Ethiopia. If you only look at the photos, you'll be amazed by the lemon-yellow lakes interspersed with the orange-red hues of iron. These lakes are essentially sulfuric acid and dissolved salts. The pH here can drop to below 0. The strong smell of sulfur and toxic gases spewing from the vents make breathing difficult. The terrible isolation and the corrosive effects of salt on the machinery caused the projects to fail, one after another. After World War II, the railway line was dismantled and people gradually fled this hell, leaving behind a town made of salt. The story of Dallol would be incomplete without the Afar people today, who remain the only ones who challenge this place. Haukadalur, Iceland. Located on the famous Golden Circle, it is one of the rare places in the world where you can feel the heat from the Earth's core. The story of Haukadalur is intertwined with the rise and fall of the Great Geyser. Geothermal activity here has existed for approximately 10,000 years. In the 19th century, Geyser erupted with extreme force, attracting scientists from around the world. There was a time when people tried to stimulate Geyser to erupt by pouring soap into its spout. This created spectacular displays, but clogged the natural duct system, causing it to gradually cease functioning. Kawah Ijen Volcano, Indonesia. Right in the middle of the crater lies a stunning turquoise lake. But don't let the color fool you. This is the world's largest lake of sulfuric and hydrochloric acid. It can melt metal and cause severe burns in an instant. Behind the dazzling beauty that attracts thousands of tourists lies a haunting story of the survival of sulfur miners. This is the painful yet resilient soul of Kawah Ijen. Nazca lines Peru. Located on the arid coastal plains of Peru, about 400 kilometers south of Lima. The giant ground drawings in Nazca and the Jumana steppe region span an area of approximately 450 square kilometers. These lines etched into the ground surface between 500 BC and 500 AD. It is one of the greatest mysteries of archaeology because of its number, nature, size, and continuity. The gigantic drawings depict living creatures, stylized plants, and imaginary beings, as well as geometric shapes. It is believed that they served a ritualistic astronomical function. Valle, Namibia. The combination of pristine white clay soil, the surrounding fiery red sand dunes. The main highlight is the dark twisted acacia tree trunks, standing alone like artistic sculptures in an installation. Approximately 900 to 1,000 years ago, this area was a lush green oasis thanks to the Surt River overflowing after heavy rains. However, due to climate change, the massive sand dunes shifted and blocked the river's path. The oasis was cut off from its source of life and gradually dried up. Rainbow Mountain, Peru. Also known as Vinicunca, Rainbow Mountain is a popular destination that attracts visitors with the beauty of its mineral veins. The most iconic image is adorned with streaks of rusty red, earthy yellow, bright red, turquoise, and gold. At 17,060 feet, this mountain isn't actually the tallest in the area. It is famous for its striped and colorful appearance, a phenomenon caused by its unique mineral and geological composition. The vibrant colors of Rainbow Mountain come from a blend of mineral deposits, creating its striking striped appearance. This is the result of layers of clay sandstone and gypsum exposed due to the movement of tectonic plates and the melting of glaciers. Mano del Desierto, Chile. Located in the Atacama Desert, Chile, about 75 kilometers south of Antofagasta, right next to the Pan American Highway. This hand didn't appear by chance. It's the result of an artistic effort to break the eerie silence of the Atacama Desert. Artist Mario Irarrázaval wanted to use the image of a hand rising from the earth to depict the loneliness and helplessness of humanity. In a lifeless desert, the hand looks like a cry for help, or the last vestige of a buried civilization. For many Chileans, the work also carries profound political significance. Matmata, Tunisia. It is a famous Berber village, particularly known as a filming location for Star Wars. The main tourist attraction in this beautiful and unique village is Luke Skywalker's house. It has now been converted into a hotel and still houses many props from the films. From afar, the village is unremarkable, and only upon approaching do you realize there's something special about it, and the legend begins. Legend has it that the first underground houses in Matmata, Tunisia were built as a way to protect the inhabitants from the tribal chiefs. The construction of these hidden underground houses kept the residents safe at night because the village was very difficult to detect. Manshiat Nasser. Nestled at the foot of the Makatum Cliffs on the outskirts of Cairo, is home to approximately 60,000 to 100,000 Zabaleen people. Unlike typical slums here, garbage is not waste, it is property. Every square meter, every rooftop, every stairwell is filled with sacks of plastic, paper, metal, and glass. The story of Manshiat Nasser begins in the 1940s when impoverished farmers from Upper Egypt migrated to Cairo. With no land, they chose garbage collection as a means of livelihood. Slab City. It has been known by many different names over the years. Despite having many nicknames, Slab City is most often referred to as the Slabs, the last free place on Earth. With a population of around 150 people living there year-round, which typically increases to about 4,000 during the winter months. Although it's much more prosperous here than most other places, it's unlikely to be the anarchist stronghold one might think. Most of the people living here receive some form of government assistance. Badab-e, Surt, Iran. Scientifically speaking, Badab-e Surt is a system of travertine terraces. However, what sets it apart from places like Pamukkale is its color. Locals have regarded this place as a gift from the earth for centuries. Ancient warriors and nomads often stopped here to bathe in the salt lakes. They believe that this water not only washes away worldly impurities, but also has the ability to restore strength and heal painful wounds. Crooked Forest, Poland. This is a forest of 400 strangely shaped pine trees located near the town of Gryfino, West Pomerania, Poland. These pines were planted around 1930, when the area was still part of the German province of Pomerania. From the base, the pines grow bent at a 90-degree angle toward the north, but then bend back to grow straight up towards the sky. Despite the unnatural curves that bend to the sides, these trees are generally healthy and grow up to 50 feet tall. There are many theories about this mystery, although there is virtually no evidence to support any of them regarding the unreal places. Some suggest that the unusual gravitational pull in this area causes trees to bend towards the north. Eye of the Sahara, Mauritania. Located in the vast Sahara Desert of Mauritania, the Richat Formation is a giant concentric arc with a diameter of up to 40 kilometers. It looks like a giant rock flower blooming amidst a sea of golden sand, or like a colossal target sculpted by nature. Initially, due to its perfectly rounded shape, many believed it to be the impact crater of a giant meteorite from millions of years ago. However, the lack of altered minerals caused by the immense pressure has refuted this. Modern studies suggest this is a dome-shaped rock formation that eroded approximately 100 million years ago. Devil's Bridge, Germany. It's a magnificent rock arch spanning a small lake in a tranquil park, giving you the feeling of stepping into a magical fairy tale. In Europe, there are many Devil's Bridges and countless stories about how they were built. Although the stories vary, they generally tell of the bridge being built with the help of the devil. Built in the 19th century in Cromlower Park, famous for its perfectly circular reflection on the water's surface. Friedrich Röttger acquired the Cromlau estate in 1842 and is renowned for designing the park and the iconic Rakotsbrücke Bridge. His legacy is a testament to his love of nature and innovative landscape design. Sala de Uyuni, Bolivia. Located in Bolivia, this is the world's largest salt flat, covering an area of over 10,000 square kilometers. During the rainy season, a thin layer of water spreads across the salt surface, transforming the entire area into a giant mirror. At this moment, the sky and the ground merge into one, creating a horizonless space, an experience known as walking on clouds. Approximately 30,000 to 42,000 years ago, this area was part of a massive prehistoric lake called Minchin. As the lake dried up due to climate change, it left behind 2 smaller lakes and 2 large salt fields. Moraki Road, uses New Zealand. If you set foot on Kekohe Beach, you'll feel like you've just stumbled into a chess game played by the gods. Dozens of nearly perfect spherical rocks, some up to 2 meters high and weighing several tons, are scattered across the sand. According to Maori belief, these stones are not natural rocks. The story tells of the legendary Araituru dugout canoe, one of the large ocean-going ships that carried their ancestors to New Zealand. These round stones are actually baskets containing eels, gourds, and sweet potatoes from the shipwreck, which have fossilized over time. Green Lake, Austria. The name Blue Lake is not an exaggeration. The lake's water is an incredibly clear emerald green. The magic lies in the fact that this clarity is due to the meltwater from the snow on the surrounding karst mountains. In spring and early summer, when temperatures rise, the snow from the mountains melts and flows into that valley that's unreal places. The allure of Grüne See lies in the intersection of 2 worlds. Previously, it was a holy grail for scuba divers. They came here to experience the feeling of walking underwater, along trails, and sitting on benches at the bottom of the lake. Hutawan, China. Located in China's Shanxi province, it has been abandoned for many years, but it doesn't look dilapidated at all. On the contrary, it is the most beautiful and lush green village in the world, with almost every building covered in vibrant vegetation. This emerald gem, located about 40 miles from Shanghai, was once a thriving settlement. In the early 1990s, as this small bay increasingly failed to meet the growing demands of the fishing industry, later residents began migrating inland in search of other jobs and a better life, a common trend in many small Chinese villages. Gradually, most of the houses were abandoned, and now only a few residents remain. Mount Huashan Plank Walk, China. It is one of China's 5 sacred mountains, famous for its steepest and most rugged terrain. This wooden plank path was built over 700 years ago by Xia Yuanxi, a Taoist practitioner of the Quanzhen sect during the Yuan dynasty. He built it so he could travel to secluded caves on cliffs in search of absolute tranquility for cultivating immortality. Initially, the path consisted only of wooden planks nailed to the cliff face with handcrafted iron nails. Ancient hermits traversed this path without safety ropes or modern equipment like we have today. They considered overcoming the fear of death as part of their spiritual cultivation process. Silfra Rift, Iceland. Filled with pristine glacial spring water, it's a paradise for divers who can snorkel among coral reefs or dive between tectonic plates. Numerous snorkeling and diving tours are organized daily, offering visitors a safe way to experience the tranquil depths. Located within Thingvellir National Park, one of the main stops on the Golden Circle tours. This area is easily accessible by rental car and is ideal for a day trip in southwest Iceland. This is the only diving location in the world where you can explore the rift between two continents. This rift formed when the North American and Eurasian tectonic plates slowly drifted apart, widening by about 2 centimeters each year. Christ of the Abyss, Italy. The statue named Il Cristo degli Abissi is located in San Frutuoso Bay between Camogli and Portofino on the Italian Riviera. The idea originated from the legendary diver Duilio Marcante. Marcante wanted to place a symbol at the bottom of the sea to protect all those who consider the ocean their home or their livelihood. The statue, approximately 2.5 meters tall and weighing 260 kilograms, was cast by sculptor Guido Galletti. Remarkably, the copper used to cast the statue was salvaged from medals, parts of ships, and even church bells. The statue was launched into the water on August 29, 1954, at a depth of approximately 17 meters. Spotted Lake, Canada. If you look from above in the summer, you'll see it's no longer a calm, still body of water. And this is an endorheic salt lake in the summer, the heat causing the water to evaporate minerals rapidly. For thousands of years, the indigenous people have used the water and mud here for healing. Each spot is believed to possess a unique healing property ranging from skin diseases to war wounds. There's a story that says, during a tribal war, both sides agreed to a truce so they could bathe together in this lake. After being healed, they realized the wonder of nature and decided to end the war. Iceland. It is an uninhabited island located off the southern coast of Iceland. Famous for being home to the loneliest house in the world, the island cannot be visited without permission from the landowner. This volcanic archipelago, known as Vestmannaeyjar in Icelandic, is relatively young geologically. It only emerged above sea level about 10,000 to 12,000 years ago. The plateau where the Elodie hunting lodge is located is covered with short grass and moss, along with a few hills. Cenote Iquil, Mexico. This is an open cenote located approximately 26 meters below ground, with a rounded opening leading down into the earth. The most distinctive feature of Iquil is the network of vine roots cascading down from above to the water's surface. The water here is a deep blue, about 40 meters deep, creating a feeling that is both serene and majestic. For the ancient Maya, cenotes like Iquil were not only sources of fresh water, but also held ultimate spiritual significance. The Maya believed that these sinkholes were the entrances to Xibalba, where the gods resided, especially the rain god Chak. Archaeologists have found gold jewelry and even human remains at the bottom of Lake Iquil. Lençóis Maranhenses, Brazil. Located in northeastern Brazil, on the eastern coast of Maranhão, in the transitional zone between three Brazilian ecosystems. More than half of its area is a region of white coastal sand dunes with temporary and permanent lagoons. Along the coast, prevailing winds have shaped sand dunes, which are filled in during the rainy season to form lagoons of various colors. This area reveals its most beautiful scenery when the lagoons reach their maximum volume, creating a rare beauty. The origin of this sand dune area is related to the deposition of sediments from periods of sea level rise and fall. The park's vegetation includes pioneer communities such as Restinga, mangrove forests, and alluvial communities. Airy Chimneys, Turkey. This is a stunning combination of colors, the yellow tones of the tough rock and the dark brown of the basalt caps. This contrast creates a landscape that seems straight out of science fiction or dreams of another planet. Standing in this valley, humans suddenly feel insignificant before the power of time. Millions of years ago, volcanic eruptions covered the area with a thick layer of ash, which then solidified into a soft rock called tuff. Over time, wind and rain eroded the soft rock faster than the hard rock, leaving behind the characteristic mushroom-shaped rock formations. Fly Geyser, USA. In 1916, local people drilled a well hoping to find water to irrigate the desert. They struck a pocket of geothermal water nearly 200 degrees Celsius. The well was later abandoned because the water was too hot. Minerals dissolved in the water settle and accumulate over the years, forming raised masses with bizarre shapes. The vibrant red, green, and yellow hues aren't simply due to minerals, but rather to thermophilic algae. These microorganisms thrive in harsh environments where temperature and light conditions change constantly. Chocolate Hills, Philippines. The most striking feature is the almost perfect shape of about 1,268 to 1,776 conical or pyramidal hills. Their symmetry and large number create a surreal landscape almost unbelievable to be created by nature. With the lush green grass covering the hills, turning dark brown reminiscent of giant stacked kisses chocolates. Famous for the story of two giants who fought each other for days when they left behind these hills as the battlefield. As one of the most visited tourist destinations in the Philippines, it plays an important role in the economy of Bohol province. It offers a unique experience, especially when viewed from high observation decks. Mono Lake, USA, located on the eastern edge of California between the arid Great Basin and the snow-capped Sierra Nevada mountains. It is an ancient salt lake covering over 70 square miles and supporting a unique and highly productive ecosystem. The lake is home to trillions of brine shrimp and alkali flies, millions of birds, and freshwater streams that flow into it. Along the lake's shores, majestic limestone formations known as tufa towers rise from the water's surface. In the mid-1800s, mineral prospectors and pioneers arrived to make a living from the rocks and soil of the area. The battle to protect Mono Lake from excessive water diversion toward Los Angeles began in the last century and continues. Snake Island, Brazil. It's not just an ordinary island. It's a nightmare for some, but an invaluable biological treasure. Snake Island became infamous for its golden lancehead viper. Beginning approximately 11,000 years ago, rising sea levels severed the waterway connecting the island to mainland Brazil. The snakes trapped on the island had no natural predators, but also no prey on land. Because birds can fly away if the venom doesn't take effect immediately, this snake possesses an extremely potent venom. Plitvice Lakes, Croatia. With an area of nearly 30,000 hectares, it is located in the lowlands of the Dinarides mountain range in the central part of the country. In a stunning karst landscape with a combination of forests and meadows, the majestic Plitvice Lake system stands out. Connected by numerous waterfalls and streams, both above and below ground, the lakes are divided into upper and lower lakes. The upper lake is formed on dolomite rock, has a gently sloping terrain, and is surrounded by dense forest. The lake system is the result of millennia of geological and biochemical processes creating natural dams known as tufa barriers. Setenil de las Bodegas, Spain. Instead of roof tiles, hundreds of houses here use the massive protruding basalt cliffs as their roofs and walls. You'll find streets like Calle Cuevas del Sol or Calle Cuevas de la Sombra, where the rocks obscure the sky. Thanks to the thick layer of rocks surrounding them, the houses here maintain a stable temperature, cool in summer and warm in winter. Derived from the Latin phrase septem nihil, meaning 7 times nothing. This is a reminder of a medieval war when the army had to besiege the fortified stronghold 7 times before finally breaking through it. Yukon, Norway. Nestled in a majestic landscape of mountains, waterfalls, and river valleys. It comprises a cluster of pioneering hydroelectric power plants, transmission lines, transport systems, and towns. The Jukan-Notodden Industrial Heritage Site exhibits a unique blend of industrial themes and properties integrated into the landscape. It demonstrates the significant exchange of technological advancements at the beginning of the 20th century. This heritage site is protected under the Cultural Heritage Act of 1978 as amended in 2009. Stone Forest, China, where millions of years of erosion have turned limestone into giant pillars that look like fossil forests. Formed about 270 million years ago during the Carboniferous period of the Paleozoic era, this area was once part of the ancient Yunnan Guizhou Sea. Geological uplift, combined with erosion from groundwater and the surface, has created unique karst formations. Stone columns up to 30 meters high, resembling swords, mushrooms, or towers, spread over an area of more than 500 square kilometers. Palm Islands, United Arab Emirates. In the late 1990s, Dubai's Crown Prince Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum realized that oil reserves were running out. He needed a boost to transform Dubai into a global tourism hub. To create Palm Jumeirah, engineers faced unprecedented challenges. The island's main structure is entirely sand and rock. They used over 94 million cubic meters of sand and 7 million tons of rock. To ensure perfect aerial views, sandblasting vessels must utilize GPS positioning technology that is accurate to the centimeter. Antelope Canyon, Arizona, USA. Located deep within the Coyote Buttes north, between the Arizona and Utah state borders. Its story begins in the Jurassic period, a vast sandy desert where towering sand dunes were compressed. Initially, small streams of floodwater flowed through the cracks, eroding the rock into U-shaped grooves. Over millions of years, winds carrying sand meticulously polished the rock's surface, creating undulating patterns. The vibrant red, burnt, orange, pale pink, and lemon yellow hues are not accidental. Gaiola Island, Italy. Just south of the Posillipo coast, one of Naples' most famous neighborhoods. What looks like a pair of small islands turns out to be just a single island, with two massive rocks connected by a very thin rock arch. Viewed from the sea, it's a wonderfully bizarre sight, but this peculiar bridge isn't the only unusual thing about Gaiola Island. The island's haunting reputation began in the early 19th century when it was home to a hermit. Later, in 1871, the island was purchased by Luigi Negri, the owner of a major fishing company. Lake Natron, Tanzania. Located in northern Tanzania, near the border with neighboring Kenya, Lake Natron lies northeast of the Ngorongoro crater. The landscape is dominated by Old Doinyo Lengai, an active volcano located just south of Lake Natron. This lake, with a maximum length of 56 kilometers, is primarily supplied with water from rivers and hot springs. Because water cannot drain from the lake, the rate of evaporation is very high, leaving behind natron and trona. The surrounding landscape is bizarre due to its proximity to a deadly body of water, yet it is rich in rare flora and fauna. Dead Valle, Namibia. This is a rare place where nature perfectly combines extreme color tones. The fiery orange of the world's tallest sand dunes, the cracked white earth of the dried-up lake bed, and the deep, cloudless blue sky. The story of Dead Valle is not a sudden tragedy, but rather a slow transformation by Mother Nature. After heavy rains, the Sorchab River overflowed its banks, creating temporary lakes. Acacia trees began to sprout, transforming the area into a lush green oasis in the heart of the Namib Desert. Giant's Causeway, Northern Ireland. It is a system of approximately 40,000 jet-black basalt columns stacked on top of each other in an incredible fashion. Most of the columns are hexagonal, but you can also find columns with 4, 5, 7, or even 8 sides. Natural Wonders looks like a giant, man-made paved road leading straight down to the sea. Legend has it that Finn McCool, an Irish giant, was challenged by a Scottish giant named Benandonna. To confront his enemy, Finn built a stone road across the North Channel so the two could meet. Pamukkale, Turkey. From a distance, Pamukkale looks like a snow-capped mountain, bathed in the golden sunlight of the Aegean region. But in reality, that pure white color isn't snow or ice, but rather travertine, formed over thousands of years. The stark white of the limestone contrasts perfectly with the turquoise color of the spring water and the sky. Few people know that situated right above those pristine white limestone steps lies the ruins of Hierapolis. Hierapolis was not only a commercial center, but also one of the world's oldest health-restoring stations.
Pangong Tso Lake, India. Located at an altitude of about 14,270 feet in the Himalayas, it spans India and the Tibet Autonomous Region. In a single day, the color of the lake can change from crystal clear blue to emerald green and sometimes gray or red. This change is due to the angle of the sun, the density of minerals, and the depth of the lake. In addition, this lake is cut in half by the line of actual control, a de facto border that is not clearly defined. About the western third of the lake is under Indian control, while the rest belongs to China. It is symbolic of the lingering impasse in resolving the broader border issue between the two countries. Phoksundo Lake, Nepal. A natural sculpture located at an altitude of 3,611 meters in Shea Phoksundo National Park. Phoksundo is famous for its extraordinary emerald or sapphire blue color. This color is the result of the near absolute purity and the absence of aquatic life provided by melting glaciers. With an estimated depth of 145 meters, Phoksundo is one of the deepest lakes in Nepal. The stillness of the lake's surface reflecting the sky and mountain peaks gives an indescribable sense of depth and majesty. Not only is it ecologically important, it also carries a deep cultural and spiritual soul, especially for the local people. Rara Lake, Nepal. Also affectionately known as Mahadev Pokhari by the Nepalese, it is the largest freshwater lake in Nepal. Located at an altitude of 2,990 meters in Rara National Park, this is one of the most stunningly beautiful and difficult to access places. The lake's surface is so calm and clear that it perfectly reflects the snow-capped mountains of Kanjiroba Chuchamara Peak. The watercolor changes with the seasons, and light, brilliant emerald green in summer, mysterious dark blue in autumn. According to local Hindu legend, Rara Lake was created by Lord Vishnu as a bathing place for nymphs. It is believed that the lake's water has the power to heal illnesses and wash away sins. Lake Tawada, Japan. Nestled on the border of Aomori and Akita prefectures, it is not only a scenic spot, but also a spiritual experience. The lake's irregular shape, resembling an outstretched hand, creates a variety of views and coves. The maximum depth is up to 327 meters, making it the third deepest lake in Japan, giving the feeling of a sacred and unexplored abyss. It is a perfect combination of the majestic beauty of an extinct volcano and the grace and sophistication of Japanese forest ecosystems. The most famous story about Lake Tawada is the battle between two gods, Nam Kong and Hachiro Taro. According to legend, two dragons fought fiercely for dominance of Lake Tawada. Lake Baikal, Russia. Located in southern Siberia, between the federal subjects of Irkutsk Oblast to the northwest and the Republic of Buryatia to the southeast. The lake covers an area of about 12,200 square miles, is 395 miles long, and has an average width of 30 miles. It is also the world's largest freshwater lake by volume, containing about 1/5 of the Earth's surface fresh water. Situated in a deep crater structure surrounded by mountains, some of which rise more than 2,000 meters above the lake's surface. Sedimentary layers at the bottom of the lake can be up to 6,100 meters thick. Cracks in the Earth's crust create hot mineral springs in the area. If I could only choose one place to see before I die, it would be Lake Baikal in March, when the turquoise ice sparkles in the sun. Yamdrok Lake, Tibet. Often referred to as Yamdrok, it is one of the most beautiful landscapes and spiritually important symbols of Tibet. The watercolor changes constantly according to the light and angle, from bright turquoise to emerald green. The lake lies in the middle of a giant valley surrounded by snow-capped mountains all year round. Tibetans say that a couple who were deeply in love jumped into the lake and committed suicide. Heaven and earth were moved and turned their blood and tears into a deep blue lake. It is not only a lake symbolizing the pristine beauty, the eternal faith, and the natural wonders of Tibet before the modern era. Dal Lake, Srinagar. Renowned as the soul of Srinagar and a living symbol of Kashmir. With majestic views surrounded by the snow-capped Pir Panjal mountain range and vibrant life happening on the water. Wooden boat experience. The flat-bottomed boats, decorated brightly, glide gently on the water. Out there are houseboats intricately carved from cedar, offering a luxurious and close-to-nature stay experience. Dal Lake was once a favorite retreat of Mughal emperors who built beautiful terraced gardens along its banks. The lake is not just a landscape, but also a complex ecosystem with islands formed from mud and aquatic plants called rad. Lake Pichola, India. It is an artificial lake created in 1362 by a Banjara nomad during the reign of Maharana Lakha. Initially, it was only a source of water for the people, but by the 16th century, under the hands of Maharana Uday Singh II, as the sun sets, the entire Aravalli mountain range turns orange and purple, and magnificent white palaces like the Lake Palace. Lake Pichola is not only beautiful, it is greedy beautiful, both royally elegant and wild in nature. If Venice is the city of bridges, then Udaipur is the city of swimming palaces. And the heart of it all is Lake Pichola, where every time the sun sets, the whole world seems to stop breathing for a few seconds to watch. Qinghai Lake, China. Not only is it the largest lake in China, but it is also a geographical and ecological wonder located on the Qinghai Tibet Plateau. The lake water changes color constantly, from a bright emerald green at noon to a dark, mysterious blue in the evening. This green contrasts strongly with the bright yellow of the rapeseed fields blooming in summer, creating a brilliant natural picture. With an altitude of 3,200 meters, the air is fresh, cool, and the sky is blue without a cloud. feel the closest to heaven and earth, with clouds drifting seemingly just out of reach. Naki Lake, India. Located at an altitude of about 1,200 meters in the hill town of Mount Abu, the Natural Wonders Hill Resort of Rajasthan State. The name Naki in the local language means nail, according to the most famous legend. The gods used their fingernails to dig a lake in just one night to get clean water and protect the people from an evil demon. When the lake was almost finished, the demon imitated the rooster crowing, making the gods think it was almost dawn and stop. Therefore, the lake was not as deep as originally planned, but still deep enough to become a sacred water source. Inle Lake, Myanmar. The most prominent feature, almost the trademark of Inle Lake, is the rowing style of the fishermen of the Intha tribe. Instead of using their hands, fishermen stand on the bow of the boat and wrap one leg around the oar to steer and maintain balance. This allows them to stand upright to better observe the seaweed and fish below the water surface. This is a great adaptation to large lake environments where the water is not very deep, but there is a lot of underwater vegetation. The Intha community has developed a unique way of life, building villages and monasteries on the lake. This place is a perfect blend of the majestic nature of the plateau and the ingenuity and perseverance of the Intha people. Lake Kawaguchi, Japan. Not only is it one of the 5 Fuji lakes, but it is also the place that has maintained the most classical beauty. When the weather is clear, the image of Mount Fuji is perfectly reflected on the mirror-like surface of the lake. The scenery here is especially beautiful in spring and autumn, where you can see Mount Fuji with cherry blossoms or red maple leaves. The locals believe that there is a door to the Dragon Palace at the bottom of the lake, and that Mount Fuji is the sleeping dragon. Therefore, every year on August the 1st, they hold a very sacred dragon procession. It is not only a natural wonder, but also a religion for those who have once stood still for hours just to admire Mount Fuji. Lake Ashi, Japan. The lake was formed after the eruption of Mount Hakone about 3,000 years ago, located at an altitude of 723 meters above sea level. The biggest attraction is the stunning view of the majestic Mount Fuji, reflected in the calm waters of Lake Ashi. This view, especially on a clear day, is considered one of the most perfect symbols of Japanese tourism. In particular, the giant red torii gate standing tall on the water is a classic photo icon. During the Edo period, Lake Ashi was an important part of the Tokaido, the main route connecting the ancient capital of Kyoto with Edo. A destination, it is a cultural experience where you can go sailing, admire one of the most beautiful mountains in the world, Lake Biwa, Japan. With an area of about 670 square kilometers, it occupies almost the entire northeastern part of Shiga Prefecture. That is why Lake Biwa is often called the Mirror of Kyoto. The name Biwa comes from the shape of the lake, which resembles a biwa, a traditional Japanese lute. The ancient Japanese believed that it was the goddess Benzaiten, the goddess of arts, who transformed into Lake Biwa. It's not just a lake, but the heart of the Kansai region, where nature is 4 million years old. If you only have one day near Kyoto and want to escape the crowds, spend it in Biwako. Lake Sevan, Armenia. It is the largest lake in Armenia and one of the highest freshwater lakes in the world. Sevan's unique location on the plateau gives it a cool climate and breathtaking views. Standing by the lake, you feel a serenity and majesty that only the highlands can offer. The lake's name is sometimes translated as Black Lake, but in fact Sevan's waters are a stunning array of colors. From brilliant emerald green in the morning to deep cobalt blue in the bright sunlight and turns silver gray during storms. It is the heart and soul of Armenia, where one can find peace, admire ancient monuments. Issyk-Kul Lake, Kyrgyzstan. It is the second largest alpine lake in the world and one of the deepest. Its enormous size creates the feeling of standing in front of a landlocked ocean. The name Issyk Kul in Kyrgyz means hot lake, or more precisely, non-frozen lake. Amazingly, at 1,607 meters above sea level and surrounded by mountain peaks, the lake never freezes. It was also an important stop on the Northern Silk Road, a crossroads of civilizations. Merchants, scholars, and explorers from the east and west stopped by the shores of this lake. Candy Lake, Kazakhstan. If you thought the most beautiful landscapes on the planet were in New Zealand or Patagonia, Candy Lake will make you think again. Deep in the Chan Kemen Gorge of the Tian Shan Mountains, about 130 kilometers east of Almaty, in 1911, a landslide blocked the flow of the valley, creating a natural dam nearly 100 meters high. Rainwater and meltwater from the mountain peak over 3,000 meters high gradually accumulated, submerging an entire spruce forest. The lake water has a high pH and is very cold, so the submerged spruce trunks almost do not decompose. More than 110 years have passed, and they still stand intact underwater like giant pillars. Kholsai Lakes, Kazakhstan. A masterpiece of natural sculpture, created by the perfect combination of glaciers and the harsh geology of the Tian Shan mountain range. Nestled in a narrow valley, the calm waters create a perfect reflection of the surrounding mountain peaks. What sets Kholsai apart is not just the ethereal blue water, a result of minerals washed from ancient glaciers. As you climb, you'll see a distinct transition from the dense fir forest of the lower lake to the bare open alpine landscape of the upper lake. The most popular story associated with this beauty is the legend of the mountain cry, or ice tears. Legend has it that her tears fell forming 3 crystal clear lakes, each representing a different emotional stage. Big Almaty Lake, Kazakhstan. Is one of the most precious gems of the Tian Shan range, located only about 15-20 kilometers south of Almaty City. The lake's watercolor changes constantly during the day, from a brilliant emerald green at 10-11 a.m. to a deep blue at noon. The reason is that the bottom of the lake is a layer of extremely smooth glacier silt that reflects light, plus a depth of 30-40 meters. The lake was formed naturally by a massive earthquake that caused a landslide, creating a giant natural dam blocking the Big Almaty River. The Kazakhs say that once upon a time there was a girl who fell in love with a boy from a rival tribe. The two were chaste, and the girl's tears turned into a blue lake, and the boy's turned into the highest mountain protecting the lake. Therefore, the locals rarely call the lake by its Russian name, but affectionately call it Almaty Koli, the Lake of Almaty.